When I walk into Nightmare in Vegas, the first ever Vegas horror convention held at the Silverton Casino, I feel an electricity in the air, a heartbeat of shared fascination. Costumed faces, flickering lights, the low hum of excitement and eerie laughter. It all feels like coming home. This is what Halloween is about, the thrill of stepping into the dark together, of transforming fear into art, of celebrating the strange beauty that lives within us all. Nightmare in Vegas is a congregation, a gathering of dreamers, creators, and fans who refuse to let their imaginations stay buried. Halloween is more than a date. It's an emotional code, a doorway into what stirs quietly in us. Fear, delight, transgression, and unfiltered creativity. It's a moment when the everyday mask comes off, when the shadows can be danced with, when we let our imaginations crawl out of the closet. And for those of us who love horror, real horror, raw, strange, uncanny, Halloween is the year's reckoning. The heart-thump moment when the world's eyes finally turn to what we hold inside all year long. Horror is alive, not just in film, but in the fabric of culture. It's the pulse behind blockbusters and indie masterpieces, podcasts and haunted houses, comic art and folklore. It's that primal storytelling instinct that dares to ask what happens when the lights go out. Yet horror has always carried tension. The genre is often dismissed or trivialized, set apart from serious art. In Hollywood, it's too often treated like the eccentric cousin, profitable but not respectable. Studios will greenlight horror because it sells, but they seldom honor it for what it is, a mirror, a scream that reflects the world back to itself. For those who understand, horror is empathy, it's confrontation, it's a way of naming what we fear, so that fear loses its grip. Behind every monster is a metaphor, a cultural truth twisted just enough to wake us up. Whether it's grief, injustice, trauma, or transformation, horror tells those stories in a language only the brave dare to speak. Still, for some, horror lovers remain a mystery. When you tell someone you love horror, you can see it sometimes. That half-second pause, that polite smile. They think it means you love darkness for its own sake, but the truth is, horror fans don't love death. We love survival. We aren't obsessed with fear, we're fascinated by overcoming it. By the ways the human mind adapts, endures, and transforms. Horror doesn't glorify pain, it exposes it, explores it, and often redeems it through catharsis. Maybe that's what makes others uneasy. Horror refuses to look away. It asks questions polite society avoids. It turns the mirror toward our buried impulses and says, "See, you're not alone." Loving horror means embracing the full range of being human, from terror to triumph, from fragility to resilience. It's not morbidity, it's honesty. Walking through the halls of Nightmare in Vegas, I see more than booths and banners. I see artists giving form to their shadows, sculptors molding fear into latex and paint, writers crafting myths from memory, filmmakers conjuring impossible worlds. Every vendor here has turned imagination into something you can touch. The air buzzes with creativity. You can hear it in the hum of conversation, in the laughter echoing from the photo ops, in the excitement of discovery. This is where horror fans gather not to hide from the world, but to celebrate being seen. And the special guests, Dr. Chud, Miko Hughes, Junko Bailey, Tara Buckman, Tony Cecere, Kevin Kepi, Johnny Perotti, they are living proof that horror endures. Their performances and artistry have shaped our nightmares and inspired new generations of creators. When fans meet them, it's not just about autographs or selfies, it's communion. It's a spark passed from one dreamer to another. Here at the Silverton Casino, this first Nightmare in Vegas marks the beginning of a tradition, one that unites the freaks, the fans, the filmmakers, the makeup artists, the scream queens, the monster makers, and the storytellers. Every table, every mask, every bloody red print is an altar to imagination. This is where community happens, in shared awe, shared laughter, and the quiet understanding that darkness can be beautiful. Why are we drawn to fear at all? Because fear wakes us up. It sharpens us. It reminds us we're alive. In a horror film, or a haunted house, or a nightmare, our bodies react. Our pulse quickens. Our breath catches. Yet, we are safe. We've built a playground for the primal, and in that playground, we get to explore what it means to be human without real-world consequence. Fear connects us to our ancestors, those who huddled around fires telling ghost stories to explain the unknown. It connects us to children under blankets, listening for monsters under the bed. Horror is humanity's way of processing chaos. It's how we make sense of the dark. And every time we face that darkness, in a story, on a screen, behind a mask, we reclaim a little bit of power. Halloween is the one time of year when imagination takes center stage. For one glorious season, society says, be strange, be bold, be whoever you want to be. It's when the world itself becomes an art project. Homes transformed into haunted mansions, pumpkins into portraits, kids into creatures of myth. The line between performer and spectator vanishes. You're not watching Halloween, you're in it. That's what makes it the most creative time of the year. It's when ordinary people become costume designers, storytellers, and dreamers. It's when darkness is not something to fear, but something to decorate, to illuminate, to celebrate. Halloween gives us permission to explore our shadows and to find beauty there. As my camera captures the glow of orange lights reflecting off latex masks, the quiet pride in an artist's eyes, the shiver of laughter from someone half scared and half delighted, I realize this is what community looks like. Horror brings people together because it strips away pretense. It invites us to be real, to feel everything, to laugh and scream in the same breath, to admit that life itself is a balancing act between fear and joy, loss and love, death and creation. And maybe that's the secret. Halloween reminds us that both shadow and light are necessary. That to be alive is to hold both. So why Halloween? Because it's not just about ghosts or candy or jump scares. It's about expression, transformation, healing, connection. It's about gathering. Like we do here at Nightmare in Vegas, to celebrate the imagination that keeps the human spirit alive. To love horror is to love storytelling. To embrace Halloween is to embrace life itself. Strange, fleeting, beautiful, terrifying, and worth every shiver. So thank you to the vendors, the fans, the creators, the icons, the monsters, and the dreamers. You make the dark glow. Because when the lights go down and the shadows grow long, that's when our stories come alive. That's when we remember who we are. And that's why Halloween.